We have a motion, the school board, we have a motion that the closed meeting be closed and the board certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting to which this certification applies, and only such business matters as were identified in the motion concerning the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Ms. Shuttleworth, would you please certify? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
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 Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. Appreciate y'all joining us. I know we're about to have another school year under our belt. I know everyone is looking forward to summer vacation. So, like I said, once again, we appreciate your attendance. And if you'd all please stand and join us in a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to move on to part 8, our recognitions here. Ms. Alga, if you would please come forward.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, school board members, Dr. Thornton, and student liaison. It's my honor and my wonderful privilege to present to you this evening outstanding students, staff members, and community members whose accomplishments and contributions go above and beyond expectations and bring positive recognitions and success to our school and to our school division. At this time, if anyone is here from the Clarksville Police Department, Ricky Wilkinson or any of those officers, please come forward. We are pleased to recognize Police Chief Ricky Wilkinson and the officers of the Clarksville Police Department for their outstanding service to Clarksville Elementary School. Over the past several weeks, construction at the school has disrupted the normal parking and traffic patterns, creating safety concerns for drivers as well as our children. Chief Wilkinson and his officers have been present at the school every morning and every afternoon to assist with the flow of traffic and the safety of our children. This extra effort goes above and beyond expectation when we know that you must also meet the many demands and responsibilities within the community. The safety of our students is of utmost concern to all of us, and we thank you for your dedication and your loyalty to Clarksville Elementary and the students there and their safety. Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. I appreciate it. If Charity Coniley is here with us, she could come forward at this time. Is she not here with us? We will forego that recognition at this time. We'll hopefully get her back next time. Our next recognition is for the first girls soccer team at Bluestone Middle School. Yeah. For the first time, girls soccer was implemented at our middle schools this year. A competitive schedule with schools within the region was put in place, and matches were held at Bonner, Northern Granville, Cedar Creek, Hawley, and Parkview Middle Schools. The first ever girls soccer team at Bluestone Middle School ended the season with 7 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. What a fabulous opening season. We'll give them a hand. That's awesome. So we'd like to congratulate these first the following team members for their first year of participation in the girls' soccer. If you'd please come forward when I call your name. Lindsay Beretta. Jasmine Brown. Keely Downey. She comes, yeah. Dee Epps. Amberley Hayes. Alyssa Hughes. April Newton. Nicole Newton. Nasiah Schamberger. Sadiah Schamberger. Emma Strider. Aaron Strider. Katie Tuck. Heather Ann Tucker. Is she not here? Thank you. Ann Taylor Williamson. And we'd also like to recognize our managers, Colton Boyder. Tristan Lewis. And Zachary McCall. And do we have any of our coaches here with us? Young ladies and for really appreciate it. Congratulations to all of you. What a great job. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Our next recognitions will be for the forensics team at Bluestone Middle School. On March 23rd, the regional forensics competition was held with 10 schools competing for top honors. Preparation for this competition includes speech writing, becoming familiar with poems and stories, preparing to defend arguments, and showing skills on the drama stage. The competition within each category is fierce, and the following students formed the forensic, debate, and drama team at Bluestone Middle School and placed overall in second place in the competition. And let me state that again. They placed second overall. That sounds a little bit better, in the competition. So if the following students would please come forward at this time. On the debate team, Lindsay Beretta. Michaela Owen. Brianna Young. Alexa Marsloff. For poetry, Victoria Thompson. For extemporaneous speaking, Ethan Hickson. For demonstration, Bryce Burke. The alternate for demonstration, Jalen Burton. For prose, Amberley Hayes. Oops, wrong one, sorry. For after dinner speaking, Frank Zorba. And the drama team, Tyler Bagby, Jeremy Goodwin, Kylie Brown, Jasmine Pettis, Jasmine Brown, Darian Jenkins, Katie Tuck, Kayla Duncan, Sarah Moore, Jade Pettis, and Raheem Martin. Congratulations to all of you for participating and for winning second place overall in the competition. And we also have some other honors. Congratulations to the following students who placed in the individual categories of the competition. Third place, prose, Amberley Hayes. Where'd you go? Second place, poetry, Victoria Thompson. First place, after dinner, Frank Zorba. And for debate, third place, affirmative debate, and second place overall debate, Brianna Young. Where'd you go? Which one of y'all is Brianna Young? She didn't come. Okay, sorry. Alexa Marsloff. And first place, negative debate, second place overall debate, Lindsay Beretta. And Michaela Owen. So we are very proud of your efforts with forensics. I know you worked hard. That's a stiff competition. Congratulations, and we wish you well in future competitions. Thank you for being here. Our next recognition will be for the Beta competition that was held in March of this year. Bluestone High School students attended the Beta State Convention, were Beta members. Christelle Ancajas, if you'll please come forward. Regan Booths. Tina Moore. Taylor Tharp. Jessica Williams. These young ladies competed in the group talent competition. They won first place in this category with their originally choreographed color guard performance to the song Trouble by Taylor Swift. With this first place win, they received an invitation to compete at the Beta National Convention to be held from June 19th through the 22nd in Mobile, Alabama. They have accepted this invitation and will now be competing on the national level. That is phenomenal. Congratulations. We are extremely pleased that you'll be representing Bluestone High School as well as Mecklenburg County Public Schools, and we're proud of your hard work. Thank you so very much. That concludes our recognitions for this evening. If we could give another round of applause to all of our wonderful winners. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alva. Dr. Keeler, I think you have some Senior of the Month recognitions for us, please, sir.
Jasmine Driggs and Shannon Lucy, would you please come forward? Can't mess up my stuff here. Good evening, board members. It's my pleasure to present not only the May Senior of the Month tonight, but also the June Seniors of the Month. Before I start, I'd like to remind you that here tomorrow night, 6 p.m., we will have our third Senior of the Month banquet. It appears that all 110 spots have been filled, so we're very proud of that. And would like to recognize and thank at this point Gina Larimore from the Mecklenburg County Business Educational Partnership and Tennille Clark for all they've done here in the last several weeks to get ready for this event. And I think you won't be disappointed. Starting with the Parkview High School Senior of the Month tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce Shannon Maureen Lucy on my right, who has been chosen Parkview High School Senior of the Month for May 2013. And she's the daughter of John and Catherine Lucy Jr. of Dolphin, Virginia. Let me tell you a little bit about her, because the same theme keeps coming out with these kids. Not only are they great students, but they are very active in the community and at school. She's an active member of the Beta Club, Spanish Club, and the Yo Vaso. She serves as a co-section leader of the clarinets for the Parkview Marching Band. She's a member of the varsity softball team, where she plays outfield, and she's also lettered. In addition, she has received her associate degree this spring because of her dedication to her academics. Shannon is just as active in her community as her school. She's a member of Liberty Church and their youth program. She participates in Sonaga, and she has volunteered for the local bread box. She repaired houses for the Appalachia Service Project and has helped as a guide for the Richmond Raceway guest services for the handicapped. Shannon is highly respected by the administration and faculty and students at Parkview High School. She was nominated by several of her teachers, including Mrs. Julia McInturf and Mrs. Bryant Trehe, in stating if it were possible to have a classroom full of Shannon Lucy's, it would be every teacher's dream come true. Not only is Shannon extremely academically inclined, she is also very imaginative and determined. Shannon displays the utmost respect for her instructors and for her fellow students. Because she's so very special, Shannon is a perfect recipient of the May Student of the Month recognition. When she was informed of the committee's decision, she stated that she was grateful for the teachers who nominated her for the Senior of the Month. She was especially thrilled to share the honor with her twin sister, who was the recipient of the Senior of the Month last month. After graduation from Parkview High School, Shannon will attend Virginia Tech and major in food services, but follow in the footsteps of her role model, Alton Brown. Let's give her a big hand. Also, Senior of the Month for the month of May from Bluestone High School, The staff and administration of Bluestone High School has announced that Jasmine Driggs is the May Senior of the Month. Jasmine currently has a grade point average of 3.4 and strives to do the best she can in all of her classes. She's currently a member of the cheerleading squad. She's a basketball and a baseball manager and a member of the Soda Club. Miss Reese, Jasmine's world history teacher, stated, "I have had the joy of teaching and working with Jasmine over the past 2 years. She's one of the hardest working students I know. She always has a smile on her face, and her personality seems to light up a room. She has such a kind heart and would do anything you ask of her, and she will definitely be missed next year by everyone at Bluestone." Also, Miss Jones, Jasmine's English teacher, noted that, "I taught Jasmine both in the 10th and 11th grade, and while in my class she worked diligently to do her best on every assignment. Jasmine always asked intelligent questions when she needed further understanding or reinforcement in an area, and she tends to be a class leader in a variety of ways. She is polite and respectful at all times and is a well-rounded student who actively participates in various clubs and sports at Bluestone High School. And in her spare time, Jasmine enjoys reading, cheering, and spending time with her family. Her favorite subject is math, and her favorite teacher is Miss Reese, which is her history teacher at Bluestone High School. Jasmine plans to attend Virginia Wesleyan in the fall. She plans on majoring in psychology and hopes to becoming a physical therapist. When asked about the most influential person in her life, Jasmine declared, "Miss Jones, because she never limited me with a glass ceiling and still expects the very best from me every day." Jasmine is the daughter of Greg Driggs and Tisha and Kelvin Tucker, and she resides in Chase City, and we are very pleased and honored to have her as Bluestone's May Senior of the Month. Let's give her a big hand. Congratulations. Now, girls, if I could get you all to stand right over there, we're going to get the June Seniors of the Month. Would Lindsay Rebecca Powell come forward from Parkview? And would Eric Houston come forward for Bluestone? We'll start off with Eric this time. The faculty, staff, and administrative of Bluestone High School is pleased to announce that Eric Houston is the June Senior of the Month. Now get this, Eric has a grade point average of 4.125. Strives to do the best in each of his classes, and he is currently a member of the Loose Cannon, the marching and concert band, track team, and DECA. And he's also a proud recipient of an academic jacket this fall. Miss Tara Beck, Eric, British lit teacher, said Eric is phenomenal. He is a hard-working, honest, and just all-around good person. Now, note this, in the 10 years of teaching, he is quite possibly the most polite young man I have ever taught, and I mean that with all sincerity. I think that's a heck of a compliment, I tell you. Mr. Allgood, Eric's band instructor, noted that Eric is one of the most responsible and dedicated students I've ever had the pleasure to teach. And he's pleasant to work with and is a very good leader among his peers, and I will truly miss him next year. And in his spare time, Eric likes to play music, hang out with his friends, and play video games. Favorite subject is math, and his favorite teacher is Mr. Allgood, which is his band instructor. Eric plans to attend a 4-year university in the fall, and recently has been accepted to Virginia State University. And he plans on majoring in computer engineering and hopes to become a video game designer. When asked about the most influential person in his life, Eric declared, "My parents, because they pushed me to try new things, new experiences in school, and they are always there for me when I need them." Eric is the son of Eric and Rita Houston, and they reside in Clarksville, and we are very pleased to have him as the June Senior of the Month. Let's give him a big hand. Congratulations. Last but not least, Lindsay Rebecca Powell has been chosen as the June Senior of the Month for Parkview High School. And she's an active member of the Beta Club, the Yova So, and serves as the secretary of the Spanish Club and FBLA. Lindsay is a Parkview Dragon cheerleader and captain of the softball team. She was awarded the Wendy's Heisman Award for excellence in athletics and academics. Lindsay attends the Governor's School of Southside Virginia and is also a member of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society through the Southside Virginia Community College and has also received her associate degree. She was voted most likely to succeed and most school-spirited by her senior class. Recently, at an FBLA competition, Lindsay and her group placed first in the Longwood region for the digital design and promotion and continued to the state competition where they placed fifth. In addition to her many school activities, she is also active in her community. She's a member of the Pleasant Grove United Methodist Church, where she sings in the choir. She participates in the Liberty Church's youth group. Also, Lindsay has volunteered for the local Bread Box, the Angel Tree Project, Cram the Van, and she repaired houses for the Appalachian Service Project. Last summer, she participated in Girl State, and she was elected as sheriff. In her spare time, she plays travel softball with the Lake Country Crushers. The administration, faculty, and students at Parkview are very proud of her and have a lot of respect for her, including her teacher, Mrs. Crystal Elmore, who says, as Lindsay's instructor, cheerleading coach, and FBLA advisor, I have had the opportunity to observe her interaction in class as well as an extracurricular environment. And as a member of the FBLA, Lindsay always exhibits exemplary leadership skills. As a student in my class, Lindsay always worked hard, took the time to produce a final product that looked good and reflected the care and pride in her work. She always strives to do her best in every realm of her life, and she is a perfectionist for sure. It doesn't matter what the task is. I can always count on her to take her time and work out all the details to perfection. When informed of the committee's decision, Lindsay stated that she was very surprised and happy to be chosen for such an honor. And after graduation from Parkview High School, she's going to attend Virginia Tech and major in business. We got two well-rounded kids. Let's give them a big hand. Now you guys, you want to go over there real quick and let them get your picture? We have a great bunch of kids, as you're going to see tomorrow night. They're all ready to give their speeches and recognize their educators. I know they all have their speeches ready because he told me. So. Let's get one more hand for these kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Keeler. If everyone who was just recognized would please come forward. The board's going to take a few minutes to meet and greet everyone for just a second. So I know it's right many of you all, so we'll try to flow it through kind of as orderly as we can. Number 7. Yes, sir. Our superintendent's report and information items. So first we have our robotics. Robotics team, Ms. West, and our team, please come forward, Mr. Ellis.
Good evening. This is Scrappy number 10, believe it or not. We started in the year 2004. This year we did something a little different. This year he was in honor of Mr. Chris Coleman and in memory of Rocky English, who was one of our mentors we lost to cancer last year. He finished 4th out of 55 teams. He only lost one match, and then he lost in the quarterfinals. This year we met a team for the Netherlands, which was our 3rd foreign country. We've competed against Canada and Brazil in the past. And we like this guy a lot. he's a fun little robot. So, I want to try to shoot him. He's gonna shoot at Mr. Ellis.
Very well. This year we went to the North Carolina regional and we placed fourth overall. And there's only one other team that scored more points than we did, and they sat there at the feeding station when we get the biscuits. They sat there and shot them from there. So we did very well. Like she said, with that team from the Netherlands, they're very interesting. Like she did mention, I'll show you all the rest. Right here on the top, we have inventory Rocky Bush and Dr. This year's graphics are a lot better, I thought. That's right. In the matches, around the last few seconds of the match, the teams had to climb 2 pyramids in the middle of the field. And ours was the first one. And what we did was back up to it. Those two top of it. What we did was we pulled that up. We would sit on the ropes and bring the robot up to the tank. And that's, well, the robot's very accurate. We had a feeding station, and the stocks were about this big as a frisbee, and they enjoyed it. And what we did, we were messing around one day in the shop, and we sat there about here to the man taking a picture over there. We sat there, and we were shooting through the spots. That was really fun. And we take these handy things. Go from they made a killer inside of them, you can see very fancy. Looks good. Anybody have any questions about it? You know something cool?
I was lucky enough to see 2 of the matches, and that wasn't the last day though. I saw 2, and I thought y'all were going to go all the way. They all looked that good. So it must have been some team problems with your teammates or something, because y'all were the best ones I saw there.
Yeah, we were doing very well. Previous years we've been very passive
Yeah.
with the defenders. This year I was driving and I wasn't I didn't want to get out of their way, so we actually flipped over one robot. We just knocked him to. I didn't even notice what I was doing. I didn't know I was shooting them. Any other questions? All right, if you look at the very front of it, we have a camera system right there, and I can move the camera and adjust it to what I want to do. It's oh, the camera used to work. Yes, sometimes I can move the camera. Any questions, guys?
He's amazing. Thank you for bringing him. I'd like to thank also, we have a lot of mentors from the community as well, and I don't think they could have done as well as they could without them. We'd have to bring them here and recognize them soon.
Congratulations, and thank y'all very much for your presentation. We're going to move on to item number 8, our Bluestone Middle School FFA projects with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. I just hope y'all don't have that pig I kissed a few months ago with y'all back there, because if you do, I'm not kissing him again.
Hello. Okay. Hi, my name is Carl West, and I will be talking about small animal science contest. We went to Chatham Middle School for a small animal contest. It was really weird, and the school was very big. Once we arrived at the school, we had to sit for a while, and then they put us in groups. It was really cool when after that we went to the computer lab and took an online knowledge test. When we got back from the test, we had to wait for about 15 minutes. Then we went to the gym for a animal tool ID test. It was easy. And then we had a group skill test that was very easy. After that, we had to take a really hard skills test about nutrition and health that took me a long time. For me, it was very fun, and one of the best parts was meeting a new friend. His name was Nathan. I learned a lot about that trip, and I'm hoping to go next year. Thank you for listening.
I'm Colton Border, and I'm doing Bluestone Middle School at Mechanics, and we went to the competition. We also had to take a computer test. We had 17 minutes to do it, and it was 20 questions, and to me it was fairly easy. And then after that, we went into a different classroom, and they set out the tools, and we had to do a tool ID and what they were used for, and the proper way to use them, and then they graded our paper.
Hi, my name is Brandon Ligon. I'm with Bluestone Middle School FFA. We went to competition at Chatham Middle School a few weeks ago, and the ag mechanics team had to do a skill challenge where they gave us a 45-inch board, and they told us to cut it at an angle, and then they told us to mark it 3 inches off another notch. That was okay. We were graded on measuring and how we use the tools and shop safety.
My name is Tommy Hyatt. I'm from Bluestone FFA, Chatham. When we went to the competition in Chatham Middle School, we had to do a group project, and it was a little hard, and we didn't do that good on it. We had to practice when we get back the next day when we got back. Also, part of the ag mechanics is welding, and sometimes over the weekend my dad will come to the school and he'll teach us welding and how to use the MIG welder and the stick welder and gas welding, and he shows us how to use them properly, and this is something that I made.
The ag mechanics team also went on a field trip to Welding Expo. We learned a lot about the welders, what kind of metal we need for them, and we got to use a plasma cutter. Then they took us to another station, and we got to learn all about our grinding blades, and we've been making projects, and this is what I made in Bluestone FFA.
Thank y'all very much. That was real good, real good. We're going to move on to subject C, our Holocaust projects for 7th and 8th grade students. Oops, I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Carl West, and I'm talking about my World War II project. The project must contain a scrapbook, a timeline, and any family members. When doing so, I found out that a classmate and I had an uncle that served in the same company together. I have learned a lot from this project, and I had a lot of fun.
Me and Brandon had to make a project for Miss Gordon's language arts class, and to be able to make the wheels and stuff for it, we had to do replica, and we wanted the wheels to be a 10-inch diameter, and we had to calculate it and get the circumference of it, and to know how long to cut the metal, and then we welded stuff together.
I cut the boards for the project. They were 54 inches long. We had to cut them and rip them with our table saw, and then I had to stain them, and we took an electric drill and put the screws in it, and it's approximately 78 screws in it.
We're going to move on to item D, presentations of learning, Bluestone Middle School.
Good evening, school board members, Mr. Chairman, and Dr. Thornton. We've been really busy in project-based learning over the past couple of weeks, and today we had our presentations of learning. We want to thank Ms. Garner, and Mr. Pereira, and Dr. Thornton for coming and being a part of our panel. We really appreciate that. And I have to go ahead and apologize. We were really busy, and we thought we did something really good 3 weeks ago by inviting our student to come tonight. And I sat beside his father all day long and forgot to remind him to come tonight. So I really do apologize to Brendan King. But luckily, someone else was coming tonight, and I asked her as we came in, do you mind doing your POL? So thank you, Katie, and I'm sorry.
Good evening, school board. My name is Katie Tuck, and I in 6th grade project-based learning, and I did my genre project from Miss Jones' language arts class, and genre means a different a term used for the different types of literature, and it's things like fairy tales and myths, folk tales, etc. And I chose the science fiction genre. And in the science fiction genre, it's most of the time futuristic, like Star Wars, and it involves gadgetry, time travel, and space most of the time. And in the science fiction genre, we had to build an object with at least one moving part, and then write a story about them. I made this little Robug. His name is Robug, and I wrote a story about him. My story was about Robug, who was a floor cleaning prototype, and he something in the core made all the Earth's core made all the robots shut down except for him because he was a prototype, and he had to go on a daring mission to save the world. And this was an individual project, so I designed Robug and built him and wrote the story all by myself, and my favorite part of the project was designing Robug because I really like to engineer and build stuff, and so when I saw science fiction, then my mind went straight to building stuff. So I really did not have a least favorite part of the project, but I do think it was getting my writing together. And I did learn one thing about myself, that I wait to the last minute to turn in a project, unfortunately. And I noticed I did this on another project, a few other projects too, and it's really what I learned about myself this year, in that I did have a big aha moment with one of our 5 habits of heart and mind, and that was with perseverance, because in our Element 2 project, we had Element 1, we had to make an element and to put on the periodic table, and well, after we did something, we would go to Miss Miles, she would give us a critique, and we got our hopes up, and then she said, no, just go make another draft, and it was very time consuming, and most of the times when she gave us a critique, we're just like, really? So, and next year, I hope, like in 6th grade this year, we did really good because we merged Math 6 and pre-algebra groups together, and they were even in different classes. But next year, I would like to see more merging of classes, because I really like to experience other people and work with different types of people. And next year, I need to, I think, show more effective communication, because I need to remember my speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on to subject E, voice choice, Parkview Middle School.
Hello, my name is Bryce Watson, and I'm going to be talking about voice choice projects. Voice choice is a powerful medium for students to express their feelings, interests, and passions for learning. It gives students the opportunities to be creators, designers, and managers to produce a desired outcome. Voice choice projects provide the passage to explore differentiated topics of relevancy and authenticity. In the fall, a group of students asked Dr. Thornton if we can make a haunted hallway. He said, yeah, go for it. This voice choice project allowed the group of students to decorate the 6th grade hallway as a haunted house. My contribution was a 7-foot coffin my dad and I built, painted, and engineered. We experimented with a 100-pound test line to make sure the opening of the coffin was safe when the vampire awoke to scare the spectators. The purpose of the Haunted Hallway Voice Choice Project was to raise money for PBL, selling tickets for 50 cents. We succeeded by collecting over $125.
Hi, good evening. My name is Hannah Waller. And I'm Ashanti Evans. We We are going to talk about our Boys' Choice project at Sandy Hook Elementary. This project started off as just a little poster board we were going to hang in the main lobby of our school for everyone to pay their respects. But now it has grown into this beautiful masterpiece. We started this project as a rough draft on the computer in collaboration with Mrs. Cherry, our art teacher. Mrs. Cherry taught us how to use a Photoshop, a computer art design art program. It took 5 drafts to finalize this painting. Mrs. Cherry ordered our canvas and frame so drawing could begin. First, we had to draw horizontal and vertical lines to make a graph. Next, we plotted our butterflies to lay out the design. This phase of our project was easy and simple because skills were used the same in our globe project in Miss Water. After 26 butterflies were drawn, we used the clouds, God's hands, and the poem we wrote. You're beautiful, you're perfect, you're floating high above. In heaven's garden, you will live forever in God's love. So when God opens up his hands, you will at last be free. 26 new butterflies, now in eternity. It took all semester to complete the painting process. Our hope and dream is to raise enough money to take this painting to Newtown, Connecticut, and present this token of our love to the new school. A few weeks ago, in class, the teachers came up with a survey to vote for the best project of the year, and each student in PBL got to vote and see which one they liked the best. And our Sandy Hook painting won, and we got awards for that. We got special recognition. At this time, we made butterflies with inspirational quotes and Do y'all have any questions for us?
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. That was really, really nice. We need to move on to subject F, our Bluestone Middle School Improvement Plan. Ms. Shores.
Good evening, Dr. Thornton, Chairman, members of the board. I presented to you, or it should be in your packet, the school improvement plan for Bluestone Middle School that I would like for you to review and look over and ask. Please feel free to call and ask any questions you may have about it. It was a process that we went through an academic review this year, and then using the state-provided rubric, we created an improvement plan. The committee consisted of several teachers, myself, guidance counselor, and some parents that were involved in the creation of this. Are there any questions at this time? Thank you. Sure. Yes. Yes, ma'am. We found our levels of weakness were using data to develop intervention plans for our students, and instructional supervision needs some more. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to our federal programs. Ms. Rogers.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Thornton, members of the board. Tonight I'm bringing forward the 2013-2014 consolidated application for federal programs. It was released from DOE 2 weeks ago. There were no major changes from US DOE in the format of the plan this year. Therefore, it was released early enough that we could get it in this month for information, and will need to be for action next month so that it can be submitted by the July 1 deadline. Most important page of the application is probably the second one with the anticipated allocations. These will not be finalized until the fall, but we did receive an email. All Title I coordinators received an email last week with the figure that you see for Title I with almost a 10% reduction from USDOE, and then trickled down to the DOE, Virginia DOE, and then also they told us to anticipate at least a 5% reduction in Title II funds. So that's why you will notice on page 2 a difference between this year's funds and last year's funds. And of course, when we get the actual allocations, if they are less or more, we will go in and make amendments at that time. And then as you flip through, you can see the breakdown for the budgets in the different areas. But again, this is for information this month, and if you have any questions, please feel free to call, and this will be for action next month. Any questions tonight?
Any questions?
Just for information to clarify, when we do have a reduction in these federal funds, it does affect our local operating budget. Some positions that are currently paid for with these federal dollars would have to be moved into the local fund. So it does negatively impact our budget when this happens.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. We're going to move on to, I believe, Bluestone High School Beta overnight field trip. Dr. Thornton, I think you have that information.
Yes, this is the National Beta Convention in Mobile, Alabama, and it's overnight, so the board has to approve. It is a information and vote tonight because of the date of the trip. And are there any questions with this? Okay.
No one has any questions? We're going to move on to Bluestone High School girls basketball overnight field trip. Dr. Thornton, you have that also?
Yes. This is a camp Mr. Camden is taking the girls to, and it's, again, an overnight trip, so it must be approved by the board.
Didn't we vote on one last month? I looked to go somewhere else, so they went
What was last month?
They went to the same team went to a different location last month.
Right. There's some girls that are going to Greensboro, not the whole team, and then they have a team, the team that's going to Hollins.
Okay.
Yes. So there's two.
Are there going to be any female chaperones for this?
That's a good question. Ms. Somerville?
Thanks. Any more questions on that? That will be on action later on. We'll move on to our legislative updates. Dr. Thornton, I think you have that also.
Okay. Actually, I'm turning this over to our policy person, Nan Alga.
Hey, Ms. Alga, how you doing?
Chairman, board members, Dr. Thornton, and Mr. Wentz. You have a number of policy changes and recommendations for our policy manual. Most of them are clear-cut with regard to changes that the legislature made, so it's not a lot of debate or discussion about it, but of course, if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions. There are changes with regard to just about every part of the policy manual. And there are two pieces that I would just like to call your attention to. One of them is policy 5-4.3 under personnel. For licensed personnel contracts, you do have an option for how many years a teacher will remain probationary and then how many years a teacher will remain probationary when they come in under a continuing contract. We'd like to recommend that we continue with a 3-year probationary period for new teachers and move our 1-year probationary period for our teachers that come in under continuing contract to 2 years, so that when they come in, we will have 2 years to monitor them and make sure that they are on board with our directives and our policies and our instruction. So that would be the first piece that really does need some thought. And then the other piece that I'd like to bring to your attention is policy 7-4.1, extracurricular activities generally. There's a piece in there that talks about whether or not your school division has students that are on a military base, and that does not pertain to us at all, so we would ask that we exclude that part of the policy that Brad King has recommended to our policy manual. And other than that, all other recommendations from Sands Anderson, because they're the ones that prepared all of this for us, all the changes are in red and blue. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions. This is for information this evening and vote on the policy for next month. Questions?
I do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
On some of these, and I'm looking at the legislation that was passed down, and the early intervention services for reading and math.
Yes, ma'am.
We actually, with the new programs that we're putting in place in the elementary, we're actually are already doing this, or already will be doing this before it actually becomes legislation, correct?
Tracy, you want to speak to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is with the new program that you're putting in place with the K through 2 teachers to get everyone on reading on grade level by grade 2, we've already got a plan in place before this legislation came down. Okay. Also, trying to find it in here. The career and technical and occupational, the relationship between guidance counselors and the career and technical director. Are we going to give additional training and help our guidance counselors, because the way this reads, they're going to have to become more career coaches? So are we, we're going to be putting something in place for that?
We already do have career coaches in place through the community college.
This is a little bit different. This legislation is specifically talking about high school guidance counselors, and I know that we've hired a career and technical director, so we are kind of ahead of the curve, but I just want to know, we're going to be working on something.
Right. Ms. Somerville will be working on that, and it is, our students have to have a plan in place for their career by, I believe, 7th grade with the new legislation. So early on, they have to be exposed to different careers and making decisions and planning basically 7th grade through high school and then into whether they're going to college or a career. So it's going to take a lot more time and energy with all of our efforts.
Okay. And the other one that I was looking at is the student and school employee conduct and bullying, and that's something that the state is really taking seriously. So we're going to rewrite our policies and put a plan in place to address that.
The only change in this policy that they're recommending is that you change from saying that the bullying concept or piece is in our student code of conduct. It will be based on the Virginia Code.
Okay.
So it will follow that Virginia Code.
Okay. So we will be looking at that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Definitely will. Those pieces, all of this goes into effect July 1.
Right.
So we need to be ahead of the game and make sure that we're taking care of all that.
Well, I think on most of them we are.
Yes, ma'am. I feel like that we are. We've already, I know one of the pieces is CPR, first
Right.
aid, and the defibrillator training for all licensed employees. So Ms. Moody and I have met. So it's going to involve a lot more work as far as planning and organizing how we're going to move forward with that. It also starts with students beginning 9th grade, I think, in 2016. So we'll have to put something in place. So a lot of these policies do involve extra work, but it is the legislature, so we're going to have to follow what they ask us to do. We just want to make sure our policy manual's in keeping with the law.
I'd like to comment on the bullying, though. I did receive a call today from a parent who was concerned about an incident that happened actually in first semester, and now something has happened again. And to really, whether it's child on child or adult on child, to please communicate this immediately to the school. Bullying is very hard. A lot of times it's behind closed doors, it's out of sight, it's one-on-one, it's very hard to prove. But every time we can get it documented that something occurs, it helps clear up the case if it happens again. And it probably is going to happen again. That's what bullying is. So it's really, if you're proactive as parents, to communicate. If you're not happy with the outcomes, please communicate that. It's the only way to clear up some of this bullying. And it does occur everywhere.
If you should have any questions over the next month, if you wouldn't mind calling me, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Algam. Anyone have any questions or anything else on that? We're going to move on to subject K, GPS systems for buses. Mr. Mullins, I think you're presenting that, please.
Good evening. I have 3 presentations that I'm going to be giving this evening on transportation automation with GPS, district security badges, and our procurement for our 1-to-1 and 2-to-1 program. I promise, it's been a long evening already for everyone, so these are actually fairly short, so don't panic. When we talk about transportation automation, before I get into it, I want to explain that the software that we are using now in transportation was wrote in the 80s on a program called FoxPro. It is no longer supported. The gentleman that wrote it is no longer with us. So it is time for us to move on to automate transportation and to also add GPS to our buses. Now when I say GPS, I'm pretty sure every one of you are thinking this hanging from the windshield of the bus saying make a right turn, make a left turn. Well, actually GPS is just a term for global positioning system. We actually are taking it a step further. Inside the bus itself, under the dash, we are installing a unit that will attach to the wiring harness of the bus, to the door of the bus and the arm of the bus. Real-time transmission from satellites beam that information back to our controlling software. If you look in the picture, it's kind of hard to see, but all those red dots are buses in our district. Real time, exactly where they are at. It's giving information to the controller. If a bus is behind, he can transmit that information to the community, to our teachers, to our principals, and to our parents. This is a map of one section of Mecklenburg. Inside the software, it will bring information back to us. It will actually make it more efficient for us when we are setting up our routes or if we have to change a route. It actually will report back to us how long has a bus been on a route. It will also allow us to adjust a route if a bus driver comes to the controller or director and says, I'm having trouble in this one area safely turning around. Is there a different route we could look at? They can sit there and look at the map and actually let it map out certain areas of Mecklenburg to make it a safer route for that bus driver and our students. Also, this will allow us to pull information from GPS of when a bus starts and when a bus ends. So we'll be able to pull that information and give it to payroll for time and attendance for our bus drivers as well. The second phase to this is what we call parent portal. And that's what I mentioned about the controller can communicate with the parents. The parent can actually log in on a phone, iPad, or desktop and see exactly where that bus is. If the controller knows that there's a problem with the bus, a flat tire, or a delay, the controller can actually send out a message to parents, even through school message, that we are going to be delayed for that bus number. That won't go to the whole district, it will only go to the parents of the students that are on that bus. Any questions on the GPS? Yes. Well, you're going to have a director here anyway. Yes, sir, because he sits in front taking phone calls now. For example, if a bus is delayed, there's a phone call coming in from a parent. He's got to be there to take that call. Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't have to sit in front of that screen. He has an iPad Android phone. Just like technology, I don't have to be in front of your computer to fix it. I can remote into it. Right about 100,000. And our leftover stimulus money is paying for it. More questions? Okay. Okay, to move on to the next. Okay. We take security in our county very serious, and our schools do a wonderful job watching over our students in our school. But there are several things that we can do to make our system better. One of the areas that we are working on is actually providing a badge, like I'm wearing around my neck, a badge to every student and every faculty member. What's going to happen is our elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, they will all have the equipment to create their own badge, their own colors, their own logos. That way, if a student visits another school in our district, that school will know where that student is from. If a faculty member is visiting another school in our district, they will know where that faculty is from. Same with board members. Everyone in our district will wear a badge, from superintendent all the way to the janitors. All right? Each school will have blank badges, will create their own. On that badge, if you notice right in front of me, there's a red barcode on this badge. This barcode is going to allow us to use it for other things in our school system. Food service, speed up the food lines, media book checkout, sporting events. In the future, we are wanting to lock down the schools and have access to the doors to where they have to have a badge to get in the door. That way every door is locked. But we have to start somewhere, so we're going to start with the visual of a security badge. Every school will have a camera, the printer, blank badges, and the barrel breakaway lanyards for their schools to get started. And what I mean by breakaway, and this is OSHA quality and OSHA requirement, if this gets caught in the door, someone accidentally pulls on it, all they do is it comes apart, and it's just a barrel snap. Okay? Now, this was a great banner hanging up in a security presentation at a national conference. Everyone started taking pictures of this, and it is so true. Do you know who was walking your halls? And during that presentation, they asked Dr. Carol Griesdorf from the National Education Association why she thought badges was important. I normally don't read word for word on a slide, but what she said is so important. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. Why badges, you ask? It gives everyone on campus an official capacity. It affirms everyone belongs there, and staff is much more likely to control access. It makes a non-student or intruder feel really out of place. And that is so true. So who will receive badges once again? Every staff, administrator, and student. Any questions? That is from stimulus, yes, sir. That is 21,000. Actually, we do the doors, access control through our network. You're looking at right around 130,000.
I'd like to say at this point, we're not recommending to do any of those doors to the old buildings. Hopefully we'll have that type of security when we construct our new middle and high school complex.
That's correct. Right now, we just want that visual in the hallway. If a teacher sees someone walking through the hallway without a badge, they know that they need to check into it. They need to ask a question and be vigilant about it. Okay? All right. Last presentation. Last year, we did phase 1 of the procurement for a 2-to-1 technology program and a 1-to-1 program. Kindergarten received existing iPads. Second grade received 170 iPads to create a 2-to-1. And fourth grade received netbooks, approximately 190. And that created a 2-to-1 ratio. So we're going to continue that coming into the new school year by adding 260 more iPads. That will create a 2-to-1 program in first grade. Adding 360 netbooks to our third and fifth, that creates a 2-to-1. And then we are looking into something really, really interesting called Chromebooks, approximately 350. If we can get this to work out, this will create a 1-to-1 program in the sixth grade. And what we mean by Chromebooks, they look just like a netbook, just like a laptop, but there's nothing internal for storage. Everything is in the cloud on the internet. So with our project-based learning, they're already using technology to do research. Now they will have this setting right in front of them. Instead of a 2-to-1, for sixth grade, we are looking at a 1-to-1. Also, with My Big Campus, they are already collaborating, and they're already storing projects online with My Big Campus, so it adds to that. A lot of school divisions are starting to go to Chromebook, but they are struggling with how to use them with collaboration. We are already ahead of the curve because of My Big Campus. And then, I don't want to let too much out of the bag, but if you notice the star, the PBL Electronic Daily Journal, this right here will allow our students to start putting daily pictures and daily words and stories in of what they've done throughout their day, and then each day add to that. And as they move from grade to grade, that journal will follow them. And then if my vision is correct, they will take this journal with them to the corporate world and to the college world. And this will also help in the CTE career pathway part of where they start selecting their career. They can start marking in their journal where they're going with it. And when they leave, again, if my vision is right, our students will leave here better prepared than any school system in Virginia.
Funding? I just asked that question. We just need to know.
Under that.
You know.
VPSA funding, it's a grant from the state, and we held back technology money to pay for the phase 2.
Total amount?
I think VPSA funds is around $350,000 that we have to spend for hardware each year.
And how much we hold back for that?
We hold that's a yearly thing from the state, and you have to actually spend it to get reimbursed.
Okay, but I thought we had held back some technology money for this.
We did. I don't have that number in front of me, though.
Okay.
I think it's approximately somewhere around $90,000.
Yeah.
Actually,
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We were really looking at the sixth grade was the thing. The plan was, like as we described, and the sixth grade was a question mark. Could you really do 1-to-1 with the funds we had available? And actually, when I went to the National School Board Association conference, that's where I went to several presentations where people were doing Chromebooks. And a lot of the research showed that teachers actually, if they had 2-to-1, some teachers would not gear their instruction towards technology because every child didn't have one. And then the other research they shared was the majority of teachers and students were using the internet. And so that you didn't have to get all the nuts and bolts inside a netbook or laptop per se. You need access to the internet, Google Docs, and a vehicle like we have with My Big Campus. And if you did that, you were meeting the needs in the school division, how they're used. And again, that's based on, a lot of people have been doing 1-to-1s now for probably over 15 years. So it's based on what are we actually using them for in the schools, and a lot of it is the internet, which the Chromebook meets the needs and only costs about $275.
Well, and that is true, and like you said, everything is being used on the internet. What we need to do now is teach our students that information is out there, the answer is out there, this is how you go find it.
I have a question. We're going to be purchasing or leasing the Chromebooks? Purchasing. And the cloud, who's going to take care of the cloud?
Your IT department. You understand the cloud?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
As far as space, I know you said you're going to be inputting a lot of information in the cloud. Have we decided how much space we're going to have?
Well, right now with My Big Campus, it's unlimited.
Okay.
Because we're a school system, which is very nice. In fact, that's the group we're partnering with for the journal.
So the cloud is going to go through My Big Campus, or a
Yes,
separate
sir.
cloud?
Well, part of the cloud for their storage, which they already have that now. They have the storage now.
Okay.
And it's unlimited per teacher, per student.
Okay.
Okay.
We have one question, Mr. Mullins. I want to back up to the GPS systems. That was for buses only, right? That did not include any of our maintenance vehicles, any of our county cars or anything?
Right now, we're looking at the buses, but the wiring harness in the unit can be put in those cars. Yes, sir.
Look a little further into that, please.
Mhm. No problem.
So it must be about $1,000 a piece. We have 100.
124 is what we're basing it on. Yes, sir.
Anyone have any more questions? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We're going to move on to item number 8, our public input. Ms. Shuttleworth, we have one signed up. Hold on just a second, Ms. Shuttleworth, before you call anybody forward. Anyone need to take a break? We're going to take a 5-minute break before we start, Ms. Shuttleworth. We're going to move on with item number 8, our public input. At this time, matters may be publicly brought to the attention of the board and administration. Public comments at board meetings are just one of many avenues for communication, and the board recognizes and appreciates the importance of input from and communication with the public we represent. The public is invited to sign up and to speak prior to the beginning of the meeting. The clerk of the school board will write down your name, address, and a topic you wish to speak about. The public is allowed 6 minutes at most meetings to express their views. Please respect this time limitation. It will be enforced. Please understand that it will not be possible to immediately respond to questions. As a reminder, it is inappropriate at a public meeting to make personal attacks, to be defamatory, or to disparage individuals or identifiable groups. Again, we welcome and appreciate your input. Prior to beginning your comment, please state your name to the board. Is everyone here signed up that wants to speak public input? If there's no one else that needs to sign up, Ms. Shuttleworth, we'll start with. Oh, bear with me 1 second. Let me find my timer on this iPad here. Mr. Mullins might have to find it for me before it's over with. So bear with me. All righty.
Hello, school board and members, and Dr. Thornton. I am McKenna Todd.
And I am Morgan Young. We attend Proctor Middle School and came to discuss the theory of using only PBL to raise SWOL scores.
Myself and many fellow students disagree in the use of project-based learning because numerous kids find it difficult to learn through projects.
Rather than verbal teaching or reading out of a book, PBL is a good way of teaching dependent skills but lacks teaching independent skills.
Instead of teaching them to be a leader, they are taught to be followers. Growing up in the 21st century, we need to build up our younger generation to be leaders.
I am friends with many students in PBL who have told me that they are not learning the skills needed.
Students in PBL are doing projects, but they are not focused on the main subjects. Students in regular classes are not doing as well because the new schedule is making it more difficult to learn all the needed objectives and material,
causing us to have to learn all materials for the SWOL in half the time. In history, we had to learn entire words in 1 or 2 days.
In math, many kids had trouble because there was little time to explain well or till the student understood the material. We learned a section of math in 1 day and many times would not understand.
We do not have to use PBL. Maybe to ensure success of the student, we should be more concerned about the students learning the material and understanding it,
rather than the method being taught. We understand you are busy and have a lot on your agenda.
Our future lies with you now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Dr. Thornton, School Board. I just come here to report what's going on in the trenches in the school system with Service Solutions. I've come to speak about Service Solutions, having worked 9 years with the county, having 4 years under John Hips as the head custodian, and 5 years as head custodian myself in Chase City Elementary School. After serving both the county and Service Solutions, I feel I have the experience and the knowledge to speak as an expert as far as how well Service Solutions has served the county. It is in my opinion Service Solutions hasn't fulfilled its obligation according to contract starting July of 2012. We didn't have all the cleaning chemicals that we needed or the equipment that operated to properly prepare our schools for the new coming school year. If it wasn't for the equipment and chemicals that we have from the county, the equipment and cleaning supplies, we couldn't have had Chase City Elementary School ready in time for opening for the school year. We as custodians were promised over many things at meetings right here prior to the contract. We were promised that we would have our same money. That didn't happen. We were told that we would be able to keep our same shift, and that didn't happen. We were told we could keep our outside jobs as we weren't providing our families with a living wage with what we had. That didn't happen. The answer from Service Solutions was, do you want to work here or do you want to work there? We have been allowed to run out of supplies, and on several occasions this past school year, our hours have been changed on several occasions with same-day notice. I have gone from what my salary used to be, about $16,300 in a piece. This year, with the lost hours because of not being paid vacation and what have you, I'll probably make less than $1,200. That as an 8-hour employee. Next school year, if I'm still there, I will be a 6-hour employee, which would put me down to about an $8,000 paycheck for annual salary. I have also received a call today from my supervisor that I am laid off from May 22nd to August 19th. May have 2 co-workers, one reduced to 4 hours, which was an 8-hour employee, the other reduced to 6 hours, which also was an 8-hour employee. If that will be happening in Chase City, what will be happening with the rest of the Mecklenburg County school systems? You, the school board, voted for Service Solutions even after admitting you hadn't read the contract. I have only guessed your decision was made on hearsay. I thank Mrs. Smiley for the courage of her no vote that evening, and I'd also like to thank Mr. Edwards and Mrs. Sturdivant for coming out to Chase City Elementary and to inquire on the situation. I find it hard to believe that the rest of the board who voted for something and never followed up on the ramifications of the outcome of what their yes vote was. I haven't seen or heard at any time that outsourcing has saved the county the over $600,000 that it has cost us for Service Solutions to be here from the taxpayers for their dollars and cents. Not to mention the effect it has had on the maintenance department, trying to maintain all these schools plus this building here and grounds such as cutting grass and shrubbery and pruning, moving furniture and snow removal, AC filters, and many other things custodians have done in the past that social services doesn't allow us to do anymore. I am told that our supervisor says we have about a $24,000 budget or less just for Chase City to coming this year that allow us to buy the supplies and also to pay the custodian's payroll. I ask you just what kind of service can be expected to our schools with this kind of a budget figured this year. Our taxpayers, children, and staff deserve a cleaner, safer, healthy environment to working, then we are supplying at this time.
Thank you. How you
I'm
doing?
Ellen Royster. I would like to say I'm very disappointed in the school board. We, the voters, have put you on this board with high expectations that you would be looking out for the best interests of our children, and the school system. How can you just sit there and feel good about yourself and what you're doing to the school system of Mecklenburg County? We all want progress for the schools and for our children, but we are losing good people every day. You are the representatives of Mecklenburg County schools, and you are not even listening to your voters or your student body. I just don't understand your reasoning. My daughter told me that she had guessed on many of the 9th grade science SOL answers because the material was not covered as it should have been. She passed. She was very disappointed with her score, but I'm sure she could have done much better if there had been a certified science teacher. Also, with the school time changes, I personally do not agree with it. I feel that some people may be very productive first thing in the mornings. However, how many of our teachers will be motivated at this time of the morning? I just feel like they will not have the time that they need in that 1 hour, because in that 1 hour, I guess 30 minutes later, you're going to have students coming in. The last thing I would like to say, I'd like to address this to Mr. Bullock and Mrs. Garner. I understand y'all went to California. I hope you learned something that could actually help this county and our school system. I don't know who paid for that trip. I certainly hope it wasn't me. Thank you for your time, and I hope y'all take in consideration everything you've heard tonight. And one last thing, I think the gentleman that just spoke before me, I had a parent in Chase City tell me that one of the maintenance individuals told them that they were running out of toilet tissue in Chase City. And she said to him, my goodness, let me go buy some for the school, because they can't afford it. That's pitiful. Don't even have toilet paper for the schools. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Shuttleworth?
Good evening. I'm going to keep this very brief. It's been a long night. I just had a few observations and a few thank yous. First of all, my son spoke tonight with the FFA, and it's very encouraging to see him very passionate about something, because he doesn't do really well with academics, and the projects they've been doing helps him to be motivated and more excited. I want to thank Ms. Bowery. She's the new ag teacher, and she's heading up the FFA at Bluestone Middle School. She's taken a lot of her own time on the weekends to meet with them. The parents have volunteered and helped. I know that Mr. Edwards is involved with the Home Builders Association that helps provide materials with the high school. The middle school's being very creative in trying to find ways to sell items to have supplies. And I think that's very good that the children are being involved in that. But I just want to thank Ms. Bowery for her time, and those boys are very active, and she's been very patient with them. Second of all, I'd like to thank one of our board members, Dale Sturdifin, has been helping after school with an archery group that my other son participates in, and he is not athletic at all, and he does have some special needs. Fortunately, archery is something that men, women, boys, girls, you don't have to be sport related. You don't even have to compete, but if you learn how to operate these bows and arrows and do them, it's good information to have. And for my other child, it was because of safety issues. So I've been very pleased that he volunteered, and Mr. Elam with the 4-H got together and took that time to do that. The project-based learning, I know it's been a lot of controversy about that, and I see some points on both sides. For my children, and if I recollect back to when I went to school, the things I remember the most probably had a project involved in them. They do take a lot of time, and there's going to have to be some planning to spend classroom time and project time. I see the kids, though, collaborating. I see it motivating children that maybe wouldn't be able to do it on their own or don't have the assistance at home. So I think with some tweaking, it can be a way of being more creative and getting more children involved. And I just want to thank you for your time. I see a lot of improvements. I see a lot of challenges, and I wish you the best in those.
Thank you. No one else with Shuttleworth? Thank you, ma'am. We're going to move on to our action. Under item A, minutes from our special meeting, April 10th, 2013. Have a motion the school board approve the minutes of the special school board meeting held on April 10th, 2013. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor? None opposed, Ms. Shuttleworth. We're going to move on to B, minutes from our regular school board meeting, April 17th, 2013. Have a motion the school board approves the minutes from the regular school board meeting held April 17th, 2013. We have a motion. Do we have a second? All those in favor? None opposed, Ms. Shuttleworth. We'll move over to subject C, payment of the bills. Have a motion the school board approves the bills.
So moved. And I looked over the bills, and I didn't see anything that stood out. Everything looked fine. And I had previously looked over them on my iPad.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? No further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed?
Yes, with the exception.
We're going to move on to item D, personnel. Excuse me. I have a motion the school board approves the personnel recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I've got
I'm sorry, we have any?
Yeah,
Do we have
I've
any
got a
discussion?
couple of questions from Ms. Alga. I've had some people ask me some things and to help me be able to answer the questions. One of the things that I've been asked is about do we have a hiring panel or an interview panel, or how does it take place, and at what point does Dr. Thornton find out what the recommendation is? I think they're trying to ask if he was actually on the panels.
For school or teacher positions, actually principals do the interviewing and then they make the recommendation to my office. For administrative positions, we have had panels. Well, for director positions, we have panels, and then the panel makes a recommendation to Dr. Thornton.
Okay. And something else that that I've heard a lot of comments about is that there's been a lot of movement around on our personnel agenda. Teachers are being moved from one school to the other or one position to the other. Can you tell us why this is?
Most of it has to do with licensure and what they've been endorsed to teach. And when we had the IPALS report, which is personnel and licensure, that comes back from the state once it goes up, and it's all related to our database. We don't get to manipulate that data at all. And then they send back a report with deficiencies. And we're trying to address deficiencies. So you're moved to where you are endorsed because I don't like to have deficiencies on my report.
Right. Okay. And another thing that people have asked me too is how many people actually answer directly to Dr. Thornton?
How many people actually answer directly to
Directly
Dr.
to him. In other words, I
all
think.
the directors answer directly to Dr. Thornton. I
But
answer
most
directly to
people
them.
have supervisors in between.
Absolutely.
Before Dr. Thornton ever, that makes recommendations to him or about performance and things like that. Okay.
I can answer that one if you want.
Okay.
I currently have 4 people who report directly to me.
Okay. And then one of the other things that I've heard this month is that last month we had a long list of names on our personnel agendas. And people seem to think that that's a high number, but we have lots of people that are retiring this time of the year anyway, don't we?
Yes, ma'am. And our retirement rate is no different than it was this time last year. In fact, last year we celebrated 26 retirements. This year we're celebrating 29. It's in keeping, and I would say with our aging staff, that retirement's probably going to increase.
And that's because of aging staff, is that correct?
Well, yes, sir. I do believe that has, for retirement, absolutely. Yes.
So we're probably going to be seeing increases in that.
We probably are. I'd say three people over last year is not significant. So I think it's in keeping with where we've been in the past.
Can I add to that? Some of the data points that gets out there to the press and from DOE, one thing they do is like average teacher salaries, and in Mecklenburg County, I believe it's somewhere in the high 40s. So if you look at and where we rank out of 132 systems, I believe we're probably in that 50 range. I don't have it right here off the top of my head. But we look pretty competitive if you use the average teacher salary. Then the other report that we get is actually shows where you rank for a starting teacher, 5th-year teacher, 10th-year teacher, etc. And in those scales, we rank in the hundreds out of 132. So if you look comparatively at what step you are compared to the state, our salary scale is still not very good. If you look at our average teacher pay, it looks very good because our teachers we have a large number of teachers at 25 plus years of experience. So that kind of skews that data. So we do have a very experienced group of teachers. And it is a major concern as we recruit for the future to get new teachers in as they retire. It is going to be a major concern.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I was giving accurate information out when people were asking me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further questions on personnel? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? I'd like to vote with exception. Ms. Shuttleworth, please. Move on to item E. Yeah, we sure can. We'll announce it while we're here. In our personnel, we just approved 3 new principals. Ms. Michelle Powell at La Crosse Elementary, Ms. Paige Kinley at Parkview High School, and Mr. Chris Coleman at Bluestone Senior High School. I'd like to congratulate them and wish them well. Let's give them a big hand. Mr. Coleman couldn't be here tonight. I think he is still in Afghanistan for a little while yet, so we wish him well.
He'll be home by September.
Not sure.
We're not sure.
July. But I'm sure we'll wait for him if he's not. And we'll move on to item E. Bluestone High School basketball overnight field trip to Highlands University in Roanoke. Have a motion the school board approves the Bluestone High School field trip to Highlands University June 13th through June the 15th.
Second.
Have a motion and second. All those in favor? None opposed. We're going to move on to item F, suspend policy 1.1-5.4 beta field trip. Have a motion the school board approves to suspend policy 1-5.4, which allows a vote to take place on the same night as information is held in order to vote on the Bluestone High School overnight field trip to the beta convention. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Have a motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
None opposed, Ms. Shuttleworth? Have a motion, the school board approves overnight field trip to the National Beta Convention in Mobile, Alabama, June 19th through June 22nd, 2013. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? None opposed, Ms. Shuttleworth? We're going to move on to item H, VRS resolution for 2013-2014. Have a motion, the school board approves the signing of the VRS resolution.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor? None opposed, Ms. Shuttleworth? We're going to move on to subject I, resolution to return Buckhorn Elementary to the county. Have a motion, the school board approves to sign the resolution to return Buckhorn Elementary School to the county.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Have we set up a date for the auction now?
We're moving the desks and the equipment inside, and Wade is setting up a date for all trailers.
So we're going to sell the mobile units that
Yeah,
are
so
in place, right?
Yes.
Where they're setting that?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Oh, we've got to the end here. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up before we go to school board member remarks? I guess not. We'll start with school board member remarks then. Oh, you do, Joe? Oh.
I just wanted to thank Kevin and Christopher for your service on the school board, and wish you all much success in your future endeavors. And unfortunately, I have to work during graduation. I'm kind of upset about that. It's sort of the highlight of my year. But I would like to wish all our graduates much success too. And looking forward to next year and continuing to bring our county into the 21st century.
Was that your board member remark? Okay. All right. If you got to go. Go ahead, Mr. Murphy. We're going to jump over you. Not you.
I think it's been a really productive year, even though there's been some negative feedback. I think it's been pretty positive since, I'm in school. I know what's going on. And I think next year it's going to get better. And it's been an honor to be sitting up here with you and to listening to your conversations and everything. And it's been fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Six?
I personally would like to thank the people that came up, Ms. Todd, Ms. Young, Leroy Malsbury, Ms. Royster, and Ms. Ligon. Without public input, public elected officials don't really know what's going on. We get rumor, we get outside talk, but when you walk up there and say what you mean, it's time for us to listen, and I just want to thank these people that come up here. It's not all negative. Ms. Ligon had positive things to say. Other people, we have positives, we have negatives, but if we don't listen to both sides, we'll never know where the public is or how they feel. So I just want to thank them and invite all the public to come up and talk at this podium, and that's better than anywhere else because we can look at you right there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Thurville?
Okay, I guess, Mr. Murphy, you have a trip to Paris Island soon? Good. I'm sure you're going to have a good time down there. Memories last your lifetime. It was good seeing the girls soccer program come here tonight. Had a pleasure watching some of those games. They were pretty competitive. Soccer is not easy. Those girls took a lot of bruises and they sweat, but I'm happy that this board approved to have an all-girls soccer team at Parkview and Bluestone Middle School. The two young ladies that spoke, I'm proud of you. I know it's not easy coming in front of a lot of people talking. I'm glad that you express your views. Thanks for coming in anytime. Please come back again. Keep us updated as to what's going on. The band at the Bluestone Middle School today went there for the 8th grade graduation. Ms. Shores did a great job, along with Ms. Somerville. The band, as always, did an excellent job. The choir there was excellent. Those kids, it was pretty impressive. The instructor of that, you did a good job. Ms. Lopez. Ms. Prior, I've spoke with you before about the possibility of having or forming a finance committee for this board. If we can, I know the past board used to have one at some time or another. If we can look into that, get your opinion on it later. Ms. Bowery, I had a pleasure going to see the ag department over there. She had the chicken coop going on. She had kids getting their hands dirty, growing crops. I saw those two welding guys. They're doing excellent work over there. And I look forward to coming back again and seeing the fish and everything else you have going on over there. Mr. Prior, there's an issue I have. It's not an issue. It's something that I would like to look at as well, as far as possibly looking into a drug testing program for our athletes of the county. You see reports of drug use in the school, and some schools have a drug testing policy. Looking into it not as a criminal issue, but as an issue that can be handled internally in the school. So if kids need helps with using certain substances, maybe we can give them the help they need, and they can decide whether or not they want to use illegal drugs or play sports. I think as something, if we can look into it, it may be a useful tool.
Okay.
And what else? Ms. Thornton, good to see you tonight. It's good to see you. But the end of the school year is near. We've done some really good things. Land for our new high school, we need to keep pushing for that. Hopefully we can have an expert company look at the land for us, assess the land, and see whether or not it's what we need. Every month we don't push, that's another month down the road. I'm hoping with this board and Dr. Thornton, we can keep pushing with that and have a land site before the end of this year. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Garner?
I just say that I've been to quite a few programs in the last week. I went to a play in lacrosse, which I really enjoyed. I've heard the band play at middle schools. I've watched kids proudly accept awards. Watched kids today that went for graduation excited about starting their new year in the 9th grade. Hope to get to the award ceremony at Parkview tomorrow. I would like to say congratulations to all of the students. I'd like to say thank you to all of the teachers that have made this year a success. And thank you, administrators, because I know you put in long hours and the teachers look to you for guidance. And I hope this year ends up, I know you got, 2 more days? Happy and get ready to start all over again next year.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Taylor?
I just want to thank Kevin and Emeka for being on the board with us. It's been a great experience, and it's been an honor working with both of you as well. Your comments have really added to our board because, like you said, you are in school, and so you're telling us like it is. I also want to thank our students, our teachers, and our administrators for a good year that we've had. I'm looking forward to next year. And I want to say that Ms. Ligon reminded me of something when she was up there talking, because she and I must be in that same age group that was before SOLs, when we actually learned the same way that PBL is. Because I can remember Elizabeth Cage in the 7th grade putting us in groups, and we read a play. We had to read a book. We read a play. We had to talk about the book. And I remember raiding my father's closet to bring our costumes to school and bring in all of our props in. We brought in rugs and all kinds of things. So when she was talking about, some of the memories from projects like that, but I also remember some of the projects that we did that were individual, like we had to do the leaf identification and the insect project and things like that. And I remember working, in that, and it was that she was right. It was fun. She took me back several years. But I had a conversation about PBL this week with somebody, and it was a very smart woman who told me that PBL is learning by doing. And that's what it is. It's actually learning by doing. You've learned the concept, and then you do it, and then you learn it. So I'm excited about next year and the possibilities of what it can bring. And the projects that we've seen this year have been awesome. And I look forward to hearing the data with the SOLs and things as they come out. But I want to thank everybody for this year, and let's start ramping up for a good year next year.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Bullock.
I want to thank all the teachers and the principals and Dr. Thornton and his group for a good year. And as a school board member, I ran on the platform that I want to improve our school system. I have grandkids in Mecklenburg County school system. And Mecklenburg County has a history of superintendents. Life expectancy in Mecklenburg County is 3 years. And every time you change superintendent, you have to start all over again. Now, we hired Dr. Thornton as a board member. I asked him to come in, and we gave him some directives to improve our system. And as a board member, I'm going to support what he's trying to do to our system, trying to improve it. We can no longer work under the 1918 or the 1998 system. Things have changed, and we got to change along with that. And I appreciate the young man, Chris and Annika. We was down in Williamsburg last November for a school board conference, and a lady walked up to me and she says, those two young men from Mecklenburg County, they are the nicest young men I've known. So they came in here, and we didn't know where to go, and they took my daughter and carried her where she needed to be. Now, that says a lot for our Mecklenburg County kids. So they're not only learning from home, they learn in our school system. We have good teachers, we have good employees, and we got to support our people. And every weekend you look in the paper, you see a lot of negative stuff, but our students are being successful. They're going to college, they're doing well. And it's time that we, Mecklenburg County people, get behind the system and support our superintendent. Because we hired him, and we got to support him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. I'd like to once again thank everyone for attending tonight. Look forward to seeing some of you all at graduation on Saturday. And if no one has anything else, we have a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Wagstaff, go ahead, help yourself.
I did want to let everybody know there are 2 new videos on project-based learning on the website. I just discovered them yesterday, and they're really good about explaining project-based learning, the 2 new ones y'all put on. So thank y'all for putting those up, too.
Dr. Thornton has something. Go ahead, sir.
We will be sharing data as it comes out, and we start finalizing the data from the SOLs. But please be aware, and I know we are going to share project-based learning versus traditional for the grade levels we did, but also be aware that this data is all over the place with these new tests. And I'll give you for some instances. There's one elementary school, there's a teacher in 5th grade who had some of the highest scores last year and dropped like 20 points this year. She didn't teach different. That class that came up is not significantly lower achievers because it was all the students. We had another teacher in a 4th grade in one of the elementary schools who scored in the 50% last year in the new math, and this year scored 70-some% or 81%. And then we have other 4th grades that are horrible scores. With the new tests, we are trying to get regional data. We're trying to work across the state to figure this out. And because you got to figure it out for, especially at the high school, for our students. They have to pass 6 of them to graduate. I'd like to see people come up, not to this podium, go talk to your senators and your delegates who have put all these regulations in place and have tied the public school system's hands and is over testing our children. Yes, we need some tests, but not this amount. When we have kids scared to death in elementary school because they might fail one test in time that is not on their permanent record and never counts for anything in life, really? We need to rethink what we're doing, and you need to speak at the state level. And we are trying to work with the state and doing some authentic assessments. We hired Melody Hackney from Charlotte, who's already ahead of the curve on authentic assessments, and see, do our kids have the skills for the 21st century? And I did go to POLs today at Bluestone Middle and plan on going to Parkview Middle tomorrow to see the POLs. And we saw some great things. And we also saw some kids nervous as could be in front of a panel having to speak. And you know what? I'd rather see them nervous as could be as sixth graders and knowing every year they're going to get better and better at that. So when they leave us, they're going to be ready for college, the workforce, and be ready for those interviews. And so I think we're moving in a great direction. And we're going to keep working hard and try to figure this thing out for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thornton. If there's nothing else, we have a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and a second. Thank y'all.